So in an age of hybrid warfare, where hostile states, not just Russia, others, are operating below the threshold of an act of war, but are trying to interfere in our societies, including by cyber and information means. So in that age, in an age of climate adaptation, when changes in our climate and extreme events are causing critical systems in society not to work in the way that they should, and at a time when we're under enormous pressure economically, and around energy, but other things too, critical national infrastructure becomes a huge focus because it is the battle space. It is where these hazard events, climate, and threat events, hybrid warfare, are playing out. So not surprisingly, governments and transnational organisations, the European Union, are heavily focused on CNI. You end up with an organisation like CISA being set up in the US. You end up with a body of regulation and discussion here in the UK. You end up with a proposed critical national infrastructure directive within the European Union. That's the first thing government does when it's dealing with something that is owned by the private sector. It says, oh, we better regulate this. And then later, when things get worse, it begins to interfere more directly and around critical things. If you're running a nuclear power station or the telecommunications network, government's just profoundly more interested in, or a stock exchange, the government's profoundly more interested in you than if you're running, a jam factory, understandably. So critical national infrastructure, absolutely. And then that leads you on to say, understandably, because the standard applied is commercial, how can I deliver my services and be reasonably secure against law and necessity in the current environment while still beating the next man for price, broadly speaking? Understandably, as a result of that, when the weather changes or when there is an undeclared war, there's a shortfall in security and critical national infrastructure in every country. There is a shortfall. So critical national infrastructure of all the private-owned networks is being pulled out to the fore, and events which affect it change the cyber environment profoundly. One thinks of Colonial Pipeline in the US, one thinks of HSE in Ireland, the healthcare service that's there. We in the UK have been really lucky. We've had little nibbles. We've had, NHS 111 recently. We've had, WannaCry. We've had little bits and pieces have happened to us, or we've had misconfigurations in banks, which are also, technology events. But we haven't had really significant ones. But countries that have had them, it changes you. So CNI, absolutely. And what happens to CNI networks is going to drive the cyber requirements placed upon businesses more broadly. So that for me is CNI.